That's right. That's right. Welcome to the bottom of the rabbit hole. We are live. Actually, we are live broadcasting from Ocean Casino in Atlantic City. They're not paying me to say that, although I wish they were. But we are here. Nice view of the beach, and we've got some stuff to talk about here. But first, let's welcome our resident advisor, Vesuvius MXO, and our resident Matrix Online hacker, Scion. Say hello to the class.
Greetings, Red Pills.
Yeah, I think Scion might be busy hacking over there.
Always. But as noted before, I'm not easy to get rid of. Like a bad bug in the code, I keep turning up. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's always a pleasure to have you both here, and thank you guys both for joining and being a part of the Matrix University Discord. The link is in the description, I believe. So, of course, guys, make sure you come and hang out with us there. Um, and like the stream on the way in. I'm glad I said that because I am going to go ahead and tweet that we are live. Our perfect attendance Matrix University students are well aware of the lawsuit that exists here. We talked about it a bit with Cyberpunk Matrix in that March 5th Twitter space. The link to that is also in the description for anybody who wants to get caught up there. Like I said, if you're, yellow pilled and perfect attendance, you've probably checked that out already. But I just wanted to do this live tonight to kind of go a little bit more in depth and more importantly, because I'll say, oh man, I'm waiting to find out what's going on with the lawsuit. And the most popular response to that is still, what lawsuit? So I just wanted to kind of go in depth and dive in, and I really wanted to try to just make a dedicated video, more of the structure, or like the structure from the Sophia Stewart case, which is one of the earliest videos on this channel. I did leave a link to that video in the description as well, for anybody who's curious about that. But the thing about it is, again, what we talked about in the last update, if you were in our last live stream about 2 weeks ago, or a little over 2 weeks ago, everything's going back to private arbitration. So, I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know all the ins and outs of, for example, when I read all of the stuff that was submitted to the case, at that point, technically everything was public record, right? So with everything going back to private arbitration, I don't know, what I'd be allowed to share, or, what I can tell from reading all the documents when things were still public record is that the Warner Brothers and the Village Roadshow lawyers are not playing any games, and I don't want any parts of those problems. So I'm going to play this as safe as possible here. I think the best place to start would be to go back to when it was originally reported, because, like I said, I just wanted to have something up to explain and just kind of let people know what's going on and why I think it's important. And like I said, in that Twitter space, I didn't really want to speak on it until I felt like I knew more. And with things going back into arbitration or private arbitration, I don't necessarily know that I have new information today, but I do understand the case way more than I did a couple weeks ago. And we'll get into that. Shout out to Chaos Nova. I see you. Shout out to you. Appreciate you for being here. Yeah, so once again, the primary focus is going to be the pending lawsuit that has slid its way back into private arbitration and out of public record. That's the focus. But of course, you know how it is. We're going to check the chat and try to engage with you guys. It's always fun to be connected directly to you, which is why I strongly encourage everyone to join the Matrix University Discord, because it is a direct connection to this niche of the niche Matrix community. For the most hardcore Matrix fans, there's always great conversations going on in there, random deep lore questions and hypotheticals come up. And that's always a joy for me to participate and see those kind of conversations still going on. And another thing, if you do join the Matrix University Discord, there's a very special event going on tomorrow. And I wish I could talk about the details here, but if you go and you see what the event description is, you'll be able to put one and one together and understand why I can't talk about it here on YouTube. But it's definitely worth checking out. And there is also, if you read the description of the event, posted on the Matrix University Discord, and the link is in the description for that as well. If you check out the event description there, you will see that we are going to give away a Matrix NFT avatar, and it will tell you how you can become eligible for that. What I forgot to put in the description there was that I want to spread love. So I wanted to, make sure that the winner is someone who doesn't already have an NFT avatar. So that would mean, like Vesuvius and Alias, you guys are already Matrix NFT avatar owners. So you are disqualified by default of previous ownership, which is a good problem to have. But for example, Scion, unless you bought one and I don't know about it, you would be eligible. So I want to get people into that community, or at least allow people to have the access to the community that they might not have on their own because of, not knowing how to get set up over there. And I get how the entry point right now at this point is a little difficult for somebody who doesn't know that space. But hopefully good news is coming soon. It has been reported that the MoonPay pay partner should be launching this month, so that should give people an opportunity to sign up or grab an avatar if they so choose to. But like I said, I've kind of been beefing up my collection just so that down the road, when things really get kicked off, if there's people in this community who want to participate in the Matrix NFT avatar experience, you're not going to feel locked out or not be locked out. You'll have that point of access there. So anyway, let's start with where it all started back in February when the lawsuit first came about. All right, that's February 7th, and I'm going to share the screen here so you can see this article. And like I said, if I don't go over this in live, things have been so busy. I don't know that we'd be able to get a chance to really talk about it until the middle or the end of the summer. But back in February, when the news first broke, this article is one of many. And it says Matrix co-producer sues Warner Brothers over same-day HBO Max streaming release. And, like I talked about in the Twitter space, all the focus is on this point of the HBO Max streaming release. But we're going to get into why I don't think that's the most important part of this case. So the article says Village Roadshow Entertainment, a co-producer of The Matrix Resurrections, has filed a lawsuit against Warner Brothers alleging the studio's parent decision to release the sequel on HBO Max and in theaters at the same time was a breach of contract, according to a report from the Wall Street Journal. So like I said, this is, I feel like, the part that everybody's kind of focused on, the whole same day and date release, as they were calling it, where because of the pandemic situation, certain movies on the HBO Max platform were given a simultaneous release where you could either watch it in the theater or watch it in the comfort of your home on HBO Max. And it says here, WB's sole purpose in moving the release date of The Matrix Resurrection forward was to create a desperately needed wave of end-year of year-end HBO Max premium subscriptions from what it knew would be a blockbuster film, despite knowing full well that it would decimate the film's box office revenue and deprive Village Roadshow of any economic upside that WB and its affiliates would enjoy, the suit said, according to the Wall Street Journal. So that's a quote from Village Roadshow side. Right. Warner Brothers decided in late 2020 that its entire slate of films released in 2021 would arrive in theaters and on HBO Max on the same day. This practice was much needed in the early days of the pandemic, when vaccines were not widely available and audiences were reticent to return to movie theaters. However, towards the end of 2021, these dual releases significantly cut into box office ticket sales. Matrix Resurrection disappointed at the box office, partially because of its simultaneous release strategy and partially because its target audience is older than the moviegoers who have been most active in returning to cinemas. Right, it says Village Roadshow is not the first to sue a studio over a day and date release strategy. Last July, Scarlett Johansson filed a lawsuit against Disney alleging her contract to star in Black Widow was breached when the media giant decided to release the film on its streaming platform, Disney Plus, at the same time it launched in theaters. So, right. So, and we kind of talked about this too in the Twitter space, because a lot of articles are referencing the Scarlett Johansson case. And I have that here. If you roll the clock back to September 30th, 2021, it says Scarlett Johansson, Disney settled explosive Black Widow lawsuit. So that's what they were making reference to. And it says the settlement ends a back and forth PR battle pitting the CAA rep star against the studio that was poised to have dramatic implications for all of Hollywood's majors. So what we did talk about in the Twitter space is how, you know, this situation is a little different because Scarlett Johansson is an actress, not another company, and the fact that she settled with Disney. And as you can see here, this quote says, Disney Studios chairman Alan Bergman added, "I'm very pleased that we have been able to come to a mutual agreement with Scarlett Johansson regarding Black Widow. We appreciate her contributions to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and look forward to working together on a number of upcoming projects, including Disney's Tower of Terror." Now, have you guys heard anything about Tower of Terror? I haven't been following like their upcoming projects that well. Do you guys know if this is still supposed to be a thing or?
I have not. I don't know what that's about.
Right,
I'm not either. I hear they have a 6-foot rat as their mascot, and that kind of terrifies me. I don't want to mess with that stuff.
It's like a big old Wild Wild West spider, right? But right, yeah. So anyway, yeah, they settled. And to me, the more important reason why this isn't really as relevant to this case as people initially thought, not just because they settled and kissed and made up, as you can see here, or at least that's how it appears, right? If you go back to, nope, that's not it. I don't know if I have, actually, I didn't have an article for it, but right before that, I want to say, if the Scarlett Johansson thing was September 30th, I believe it was September 5th. Somebody can definitely background check me and correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. But like earlier that month, it says the New York Times reported that the actress Gal Gadot received more than $10 million from Warner Brothers after the studio decided that Wonder Woman 1984 would be released directly to HBO Max. Now, in that case, it wasn't the simultaneous release. There was no theatrical release. It was just straight to HBO Max. However, the point of me bringing that up is, you know, what Wonder Woman has to do with this is that in the case of Warner and an actress, there was no lawsuit. There was nothing to settle because they just said, here, just take some money. So, you know, in that regard, you know, Warner kind of showed that they have no problem at least paying the producer and the actors, you know, a little bit extra for that streaming release, right? So that's kind of why, like, when I see it in all these articles, talking about the Warner Brothers suit over Matrix Resurrections day and date HBO Max release, they all kind of come back to Scarlett Johansson, and I'm like, that's different. That's way different. It's a lot different. Right. So this is the Hollywood Reporter version of that article, also on February 7th of this year. And if you come down here, right, I think here is where we get into the meat and potatoes. And like I said, I don't think that the same day and date release is the most important thing here, at least not for the future. I mean, it might be in terms of the money, right? But in terms of the franchise, I think this is kind of the meat and potatoes. And in the Hollywood Reporter article, it says, in the lawsuit filed Monday, Village Roadshow alleged Warner Brothers executives' Project Popcorn effort drove viewers away from theaters and onto HBO Max. As part of the plan, Warner Brothers moved up the release of Matrix Resurrections from 2022 to the end of 2021. WB agreed to allow its sister company to stream Village Roadshow's tentpole film on the same day of its theatrical release for no additional revenue, so that its sister company could increase its subscribers and subscription revenue with the additional benefit of boosting its parent company's stock. It also then says Warner Brothers renegotiated contracts tied to box office performance when it announced that it would put its entire slate of 2021 movies onto HBO Max and in theaters. So I believe that's in reference to the actors. So that's kind of like the Gal Gadot point, right? That they're willing to take care of the talent, okay? But no such deal was reached with Village Roadshow over Matrix Resurrections, the lawsuit said, adding that the rushed release caused it to be rampantly pirated, which is facts. It was definitely the most pirated film of the year, further hurting its box office returns. The complaint argued that the movie's poor financial performance dilutes the value of the franchise, since it now appears that no more installments will be made. Yeah, that's kind of like a bummer. Now it says it appears. I mean, this is not, the gospel from Warner Brothers themselves, but as we can see as fans, the Matrix traffic is way down right now. And when we were building up the hype, right, when we were riding the hype train into this thing, we were kind of saying, hey, if this thing is a home run, we can kind of expect to see a video game and a streamer and all this other merch and all this new stuff. Well, it didn't go that way. So now it's like, okay, now what's going to happen? But like I said, this is the meat and potatoes, I think, here of this lawsuit, or at least why I think this is the part that might set a new precedent that we're not hearing a lot about. And it says, in the lawsuit, Village Roadshow also raises disputes it has with Warner Brothers over other projects that are in the works. It argued the studio has refused to recognize its right to partner in Wonka by claiming that it's not a prequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and we're going to come back to that. Which the two sides co-own. Warner Brothers is additionally trying to cut Village Roadshow out of television series based on Edge of Tomorrow, according to the lawsuit. Right, that's what Village Roadshow alleges. Instead of treating Village Roadshow as co-owner of the film and as the long-standing partner it is, Warner Brothers proposed a financial deal that would have had Village Roadshow forego its contractual rights and be relegated to a second-class participant, the complaint reads. So again, that's Village Roadshow alleging, and that's what I think that this is more about. It says Warner Brothers has allegedly refused to proceed with any project concerning Edge of Tomorrow that involves Village Roadshow as a financial partner. Okay. It says Village Roadshow is withholding substantial payments for its share of production expenses over Matrix Resurrections because of the alleged breach of contract, according to the lawsuit. It seeks an accounting of all Warner Brothers earnings over Matrix Resurrections, including the value earned by using the movie to steer subscribers to HBO Max, and an order forcing the studio to consult with it for distribution plans in the future. So, okay, I think this is another point here, because this, right, is the money, right? But if you go here and we're going to look at this statement, from a Deadline article. It says HBO Max closed 2021 with 46.8 million domestic subscribers when combined with linear HBO, an annual gain of 5.3 million over 2020. Parent AT&T disclosed in its fourth quarter earnings report. Globally, subscriber levels increased 13.1 million last year to 73.8 million by year end, as the company had reported earlier this month. So basically, in 2020, HBO Max gained 5.3 million subscribers. Then they announced that they're going to have the next year's worth of movies have the same day and date release, the HBO Max simultaneous theatrical release for the next year, including The Matrix Resurrections. The Matrix Resurrections being the last of those films. And in that year, instead of just 5.3 million, they gained 13.1 million subscribers in a year. So that's over twice as many subscribers in 1 year. Now, of course, the pandemic plays a lot into that. But as we know from experience, there was more lockdown time during 2020 than 2021. However, there was, things closing and stuff like that in 2021. So I'm not going to say that that wasn't part of it. But the point that I was getting to is from, this article is that you can't prove how much of this 13.1 million subscribers is a direct result of the Matrix Resurrections. There's no way you can prove that. Now, you can sit here and say, oh, this many people watched it. Okay. But you can't, there's no way you can argue that those people 100% bought HBO Max just to watch the Matrix Resurrections. Unless I'm missing something on the metric side. I mean,
Well, I think it's gonna look good if the numbers match up a little bit about viewers for The Matrix, which I believe outdid Dune.
right.
And if those numbers are comparable to the subscriptions or the subscription duration, then they probably have a case.
Well, okay, yeah. So here's the thing. I'm not disagreeing with you that you can, like you said, line it up like that to say, okay, well, they outperformed your second best, whatever. Or rather, how do I word this? I agree with you that Matrix is probably a big chunk of that, but you're not going to be able to pinpoint an exact number. So that makes it a real sticky argument. And, when you're talking about arbitration and how much is owed, because it says that they haven't paid whatever they owe contractually and they're withholding that until this is worked out. Right. And this is the point you just made. It said Warner Media's move sparked a backlash from top talent and partners of Warner Brothers, including Doom filmmakers Denis Villeneuve and Tenet director Christopher Nolan, who denounced the plan in 2020 and called HBO Max the worst streaming service. Warner Media chief Jason Kyler admitted that he rushed the day and date plan, even if he stood by the strategy, saying last September at the Code Conference, I will be the first one to say, and the responsibility rests on my shoulders, that in hindsight, we should have taken the better part of a month to have over 170 conversations, which is the number of participants that are in our 2021 film slate. Right. And then this is like, right. This is what I was saying. These are like the documents that I'm pretty sure are public record. But like I said, with everything going back into private arbitration, I don't know. But it's in this article and that's on the internet. So I guess it's fair game, right? Oh, wow. Yeah. Download this PDF, right? So you guys can check that out if you want. I did read it all before. I read it all when all this stuff came out. So I did, see Village Roadshow's complete argument. And that's why this whole time I've been more focused on the IP conversations, the Wonka and Edge of Tomorrow. Also because, for me personally, because just like the whole bummer we read in that article that right where it's like, oh, it looks like we're probably not getting any new movies anytime soon. What I learned by reading that case paperwork is that like projects like Beyond the Glitch, the way I wrote it, it's within the rules, you know, or at least within the rules based on their agreements. I didn't make any specific reference to the plot of any of the films. It's not using characters from the films. And I think that is like part of how Warner is arguing that they didn't have to cut Village Roadshow into the streaming show and stuff. Now, of course, I haven't, they haven't gone forward with the project, so I haven't seen anything. I don't know if that's legit, but that appeared to be how they were positioning their argument, right? So that kind of, after reading all those court documents, that kind of put, a spark underneath me or motivated me to focus more on original content, because now I'm like, right, what the idea I had for Beyond the Glitch, like I said, it's within the rules. So now that makes sense for me to kind of pursue that. I mean, first of all, I had a really like good time making it, and it was a lot of fun, and you guys seem to like it, so it seemed like the right thing to do. But like I said, once I read the paperwork, I was like, oh, I really got to keep going down this path. Right, so that's where the articles kind of left off when we talked about this in that that Twitter space. Right, because we already talked about the Scarlet thing. Okay, so then when we checked back in before, it says Warner seeks to toss expanded suit over HBO Max Matrix release. Now this is April 15th. Okay. And it says Warner Brothers Entertainment asked a California state court to block Village Roadshow's productions from adding parent company Warner Media LLC to a lawsuit over the release of films on HBO Max the same day those movies arrive in theaters. Village Roadshow alleges that Warner Brothers rushed the release date. Right, we went over all that. In exchange for driving subscription revenue for the new HBO Max service, for which Warner Media would be the sole beneficiary.
Yeah, because it was supposed to come out in 2022
originally
in the spring, and then they moved it up.
Right, and honestly, I don't know if you remember, but when we first reported that, that 2022 date, I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Like it just seemed like the right amount of time for a film of this size in terms of, production, CGI, editing, promotion, all that stuff. Right, because it was announced in August of 2019. So that would have been a little less than 2 years, year and a half in that space, right?
I thought it was originally 2021, and then they moved it to 2022, and then back to December.
Okay, you're right. Well, wait. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It was 2021, then 2022, and then back. Yeah.
I believe part of that decision, they wanted to capture the Christmas audience. They wanted to release by Christmas, and they were also wanted to go head to head with a new Marvel movie, which of course proved disastrous. Can't beat Spider-Man in his own city.
See, I don't.
I think that if Warner Brothers does gain full ownership of the IP, we might see a HBO Max streaming show. Because that's a lot of airtime to fill. Back in the days of network television, you had to fill all your time slots such that enough people would watch each time slot based on time of day and other demographics. But with a streaming service, you have to have something that someone wants to watch all the time they want to watch something. So they're going to try to fill that content space. And I think we should probably heed the words of the Merovingian. If you can full screen What About the Information just for a moment. And let's see. We may not see Neo and Trinity and Morpheus near the main characters or the main timeline. But Neomatrixology, can you full screen what the screen capture is showing there? What about the information? I think we should heed the Merovingian's warning.
Are you?
And there may be a yeah.
I will sequel franchise spinoff.
That's right. It may not be Neo and Trinity. It may be Tales from the Exiles or something.
And Chaos Nova says, did they try and measure anything individually? It's annoying how people boasted in various attractions on HBO Max, ranging from the Snyder Cut to Dune. So, not to go too far on a tangent here, but my biggest, like, I enjoyed the new Dune. Like, I thought it was, a reimagination that was well deserved, because I felt like the original one had like a lot of like info dumps in the beginning, and I mean, at the time it didn't really bother me, but like, looking back, it was kind of like, I don't know, I just felt like it could have been done better, and they did it better in the new one, which is, I think, what's supposed to happen when you do a reimagination. But just like the fact that like it's not even finished, like we got half of it, and you couldn't say not one bad thing about that thing on the internet, man. I mean, if you said you didn't like it even a little bit, everybody was all in your comments. Oh, you didn't read the book, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, oh, I can't have an opinion, dude. And then I felt like it was like the total opposite with the Matrix Resurrections. It's like, oh, I liked it. What's wrong with you? You just a fanboy. All this other stuff is like, whoa, chill. Like, you know what I mean? Like, once again, I can't have an opinion. So yeah, that was my only beef, was just like, it was cool. Like I said, I didn't not like it, but I was definitely like, I definitely felt like, gypped a little bit. It was like, this was a weird place to stop. Like, it's just like, okay. Now it got greenlit, and we do know that before the Matrix Resurrections was released, they said if Lana wants to make more, she can make more. And that's really my question, and we'll come back to the article. I really want to know where Lana Wachowski stands on all this. Like, that's really what I'm waiting to see. I'd love to see a statement, to see where she falls in terms of this whole Village Roadshow, Warner beef. Shout out to D Pro. It's nice to see you too, brother. And yeah, no, and that's why, again, if you guys are tuning in, the link to the Matrix University Discord is in the description, because I miss you guys too. But that's why I wanted to kind of put that out there into the YouTube Matrix and the Twitter Matrixes and the ether, because I'm there every day. So if you guys have Matrix questions, I don't want it to be like I'm ghosting you guys, because I'm still here. Like I said, it's just that this situation, it feels like the franchise is in limbo. And with that said, I don't want to just wait another 20 years. I'd rather spend the next 20 years making content as opposed to just sitting idly by waiting for it. But that's a whole nother conversation. And if you feel the same way, I really, really strongly encourage you to join us over at the Matrix University Discord. We have a green room, and that's kind of where the hope is that we'll kind of have that be our hothouse, our creative lab. Scion has been busting his hump hacking the Matrix online so that we can put together some original content goodies for you coming after the next installment of original content, which is almost done, and I'm so excited to share that with you guys. So let's go back to this article real quick. Oh, who's that? Who's that in the Matrix there? Who's that with that? Who's with that with the green tie? I'm feeling that tie. I need that. All right, let's get back to this article real quick here. How do I get screen share? Okay. All right, so where did I leave off? All right, Village Roadshow and Warner Brothers co-own intellectual property rights on films and franchises, including the Matrix films, and Warner Brothers has a fiduciary duty to account to Village Roadshow for all earnings. Now, real quick before I continue here, I don't know the contractual language, the specifics about that co-ownership relationship. That wasn't in the public records. Okay. So how that is structured, that was one of the things I was saying in the Twitter space that I really wish I knew a little bit more about. I wish that I could get a peek at that, because that would let me feel a little bit more confident in terms of whether or not intellectual property rights were violated. And that's the thing. And this is why I think this case is so important, because when you're talking about intellectual property violations and copyright infringement, when it comes to music and movies, it is very, very, very gray. It's pretty much, for the most part, I feel like when you're talking about these situations in a courtroom setting, it seems like it's more or less at the judge's discretion. It's somebody's opinion. And I don't think that there's a real way to, unless somebody legitimately copy and pasted dialogue and you can say, hey, this is obviously plagiarism, then it's hard. It's really hard to know which way it's going to go. And most, people in these situations, myself included, know better than to copy and paste and just straight plagiarize something, because that's obvious and you're going to get caught. So, and to that point, this isn't a plagiarism case. This isn't a, Tom Althouse, Sophia Stewart claim of my idea was stolen. Like I said, this is a co-ownership situation. So this is we share this idea. And to the rest of the point of this paragraph, Village Roadshow is saying, we want to know how much money you made off of it before we give you any money that we owe you for it. So it's very unique, I think. It goes on to say, Village Roadshow alleged in a lawsuit filed in Los Angeles Superior Court in February. Warner Brothers, though, is now using Village Roadshow's film to drive subscribers to the premium subscription of HBO Max. Village Roadshow alleges. Right. So this is what happened a couple weeks after the news dropped in February. It says Village Roadshow filed an amended complaint in March, adding Warner Brothers' parent, Warner Media, as a defendant and including an additional claim for violations of California's unfair competition law. Warner Brothers asked the court to strike the amended complaint Thursday, arguing the updated allegations violate a February 15th stay order by the court and a separate stay triggered by Warner's motion to compel arbitration over the dispute. If the court doesn't strike the amended complaint, it must compel arbitration of all of Village Roadshow's claims, including the UCL claim, Warner Brothers argues. In the UCL claim, Village Roadshow alleges Warner violated the terms of their agreement by entering into a sweetheart deal to license and simultaneously release Village Roadshow's co-owned and co-financed films on HBO Max, and that claim rests on the parties' contractual relationship, Warner Brothers said. The arbitration provision in their agreement provides that any controversies, claims, or disputes arising out of or relating to their agreements must be settled by arbitration, including the UCL claim. So for anybody who doesn't know arbitration, actually, Sion, you kind of explained that pretty well last time. Do you mind explaining the arbitration part again?
Sure. First, I'm not a lawyer, not an expert in law in any degree.
Right.
This is not any kind of advice. But the way I understand it, whenever you enter into a contract involving a lot of money, where a legal issue may arise in the future, part of a clause in that contract is you agree to arbitration before litigation, which means that if you do sue, that the other party can ask the judge to dismiss the suit and send it to arbitration. And that's pretty much what happened here. An arbiter is just a neutral party, a mediator, who will sit down with both and try to hammer out an agreement. And it's not legally binding until they both sign it. And that's what both parties have agreed to. It was arbitration before litigation, and Village Roadshow jumped right to the litigation. So now I believe that the judge approved the to seal the information and send it to arbitration.
Correct. That's going to be the next thing we get to. But you're right about that contractually, and I believe that's why Warner has been confident this entire time, that they feel like they're going to win, at least the lawsuit as it was presented in front of a judge, because to your point, the contractual language says if there's a beef like this, you will dispute it, or they would dispute it in arbitration. And like you said, Village Roadshow jumped the gun and went straight to litigation, skipping the arbitration step. And I believe that move was to bring the information to the public. But I guess the fumble or the mistake in that move is it didn't appear that they were like rallying for public support. You know what I mean? It didn't. If I'll put it this way, if the plan was to say, hey, we're the little guy and we're being bullied, then part of that plan needs, part of that plan needs to be, hey guys, help, I'm getting my ass kicked and I need help. Like they forgot the part where you're supposed to ask for help, and I don't think that they, rallied public support in that way. So I felt like if that was the strategy, somebody missed a very important part of that strategy. But again, this is just my speculation. Like Cyan said, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not on anybody's legal team. I'm definitely not getting paid by either of these guys. So if anything, I'm helping Warner make money because they get all the revenue for any of the videos here. So, yeah. So with that said, let's go to the part that Cyan was saying here, which is this is the most recent May 27th. And this was the update that we talked about more or less in the last live stream. We just kind of went over things fast. But yeah, so essentially, Warner's rebuttal was, hey, the contractual language says we need to deal with this in arbitration and not in the court, or not in, public court. And basically the judge agreed. So here it says Village Roadshow agrees to arbitration with Warner Brothers in Matrix streaming strategy lawsuit update. And this is another Deadline article. And it says here, right, looks like Warner got its way. The Matrix Resurrection co-producer Village Roadshow Films has agreed to arbitrate its claims alleging Warner Brothers' decision to release the film simultaneously on HBO Max and in theaters was a breach of contract. Lawyers for Village Roadshow filed papers on Thursday with Los Angeles Superior Court Judge David Cunningham, indicating the company would no longer be pursuing its claims in court, an outcome that Warner has been pursuing for months. So what it says here, all right, quote, upon review of the court's tentative rulings, Village Roadshow hereby waives its right to the May 27th hearing on Warner Brothers' motion to compel arbitration and accepts the court's tentative ruling on the motion to compel arbitration as final, Roadshow attorneys stated in their court papers. It goes on to say in the original suit filed February 7th, Village Roadshow alleges that Warner Brothers moved the release date of the film to 2021 from 2022 to help HBO Max attract more subscribers, purposely harming the film's box office receipts as a result. Village Roadshow then filed an amended complaint on March 25th, adding Warner Media LLC as a defendant. Warner's attorneys alleged in April that the revised complaint was brought in violation of a February 15th court order imposing a stay on the case. They also maintained that the plaintiff's lawyers indicated only a few weeks earlier that they planned no such amendment. Warner Brothers also maintained that all but Village Roadshow Warner Brothers also maintained that all but Village Roadshow's added claim for breach of the state unfair competition law, that's the UFC, were a rehash of its original complaint, and it also was subject to arbitration along with the declaratory relief cause of action. While the court declined to keep the case, Village Roadshow will pursue its claims in arbitration, access all legal remedies to enforce its rights to those valuable properties, and it's confident that it will ultimately prevail on the merits of its case, said reps for Village Roadshow in a statement Friday. This is a case important not only to the Village Roadshow, but to all content owners abused by studios' self-dealing practices. The company will prove that it is entitled to all of its requested remedies, including significant damages for Warner Brothers' willful and continuing breaches of the parties' agreements. So, right. So that's what I was saying. So if that was the strategy, right? That's what I'm saying. Like now they're starting to kind of get on that soapbox and say, hey, we're doing this for the little guy. It's May, dude. Too little, too late. You should have came out the gate with that if that's how you were trying to play this. That's all I'm saying. Right, now this goes back to right, and then this, because that was an update. So this article jumps back to February 15th, which we covered all that stuff. So what I'm going to play now is a like legal version of the May 27th update. And again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't work for a law firm. So because everything was approved to go back into arbitration, I'm just going to play the audio and let you guys hear it for yourselves. Let me get rid of this so you can hear it. Okay. So here's the audio of that article. All right.
Matrix Resurrections co-producer Village Roadshow Pictures suit challenging Warner Brothers' decision to release the film simultaneously in theaters and on HBO Max belongs in arbitration. A Los Angeles judge ruled Friday, also rejecting Village Roadshow's last-minute attempt to withdraw its motion for a preliminary injunction. Los Angeles Superior Court Judge David S. Cunningham issued tentative rulings ahead of Friday's hearing, where Warner Brothers attorneys appeared in person and Village Roadshows appeared remotely. Both rulings went against Village Roadshow, which made its withdrawal request Thursday after the judge emailed them to the parties. The preliminary injunction motion sought, among other things, to force Warner Brothers to coordinate its efforts with Village Roadshow and projects it has potential rights too. Mark Holscher of Kirkland & Ellis LLP, who represents Village Roadshow, said the judge's arbitration ruling in favor of Warner Brothers makes the other motion moot, and it didn't want Warner Brothers to color the arbitration proceedings with the adverse ruling. I hear what you are saying, but one point you are not addressing is the court's duty to the public. The judge said before ruling that he is making his tentative decisions in both the arbitration and the preliminary injunction final, with plans to publish them on the court's docket. The judge also indicated he does not look favorably on Village Roadshow's attempt to withdraw its motion only after knowing what the court's tentative ruling is. As to the question of whether or not you could withdraw, you have every right to withdraw, but that was done after you were aware what the court's ruling was, the judge said. Judge Cunningham's rulings were not posted as of early Friday afternoon. In its February suit, Village Roadshow claimed Warner Brothers violated distribution agreements by simultaneously releasing the latest Matrix film in theaters and on HBO Max. In particular, it accused the studio of using the release to boost subscribers for the streaming service, which is owned by Warner Brothers' parent Warner Media LLC, at the expense of the Matrix series. Village Roadshow claims Warner Brothers is trying to deprive it of its contractual rights to Wonka, an upcoming film it says is a prequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Warner Brothers has contended that Village Roadshow isn't entitled to any rights and the film isn't a prequel, according to Village Roadshow. Warner Brothers responded with a motion to compel arbitration, saying it's not a close question. The Resurrections release and Warner Brothers' alleged refusal to offer Village Roadshow the right to co-finance Wonka are plainly controversies stemming from the parties' agreements and nothing else, the studio said. The contentious litigation also saw Village Roadshow seek a preliminary injunction claiming that Warner Brothers is trying to eviscerate the value of Village Roadshow's intellectual property as well as shut it out of its contractual rights to co-own and co-finance future sequels, prequels, and spin-offs. Village Roadshow said Warner Brothers' position on arbitration is not true because the agreements expressly allow actions like this one for injunctive and other non-monetary relief. Absent an injunction, there is an imminent threat to Village Roadshow's rights to a slew of projects, it said. Although the details of the judge's tentative rulings were not publicly available ahead of Friday's hearing, it was clear from the discussion that both went against Village Roadshow, which told the judge it was submitting on his tentative arbitration ruling while withdrawing its motion for a preliminary injunction. The judge told the parties Friday that the only reason he did not post his tentative rulings for public viewing is because of a motion to seal that was also set for discussion, and out of an abundance of caution he wanted to first rule on the seal motion to make sure the tentative ruling did not contain any sensitive information. After he made a series of rulings on the motion to seal, discussion turned to Village Roadshow's withdrawal request. Matt Klein of O'Melveny and Myers LLP, who represents Warner Brothers, told the judge his clients spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to prepare their briefs, and now that Holscher wants to hide these rulings from the public because they are so adverse to him, it is improper and should be declined. After declaring he would make his tentative rulings final, the judge said, "I think I have an obligation to the public for public to know what the court's ruling is in this case, unless there is some basis for excluding that information from the public record." Village Roadshow said in a statement, while the court declined to keep the case, Village Roadshow will pursue its claims in arbitration, access all legal remedies to enforce its rights to those valuable properties, and is confident that it will ultimately prevail on the merits of its case. This is a case important not only to Village Roadshow, but to all content owners abused by studios' self-dealing practices, it added. The company will prove that it is entitled to all of its requested remedies, including significant damages, for WB's willful and continuing breaches of the parties' agreements. Counsel for Warner Brothers did not respond to a request for comment.
So there you go. And I think what's important that this legal article highlighted that the Deadline article didn't is just this kind of idea that the judge pretty much has been ruling in Warner Brothers' favor the whole time, and that's the real reason why Village Roadshow withdrew. And not only was that the reason why Village Roadshow withdrew, but then the judge called them out on it, like, you're only withdrawing because I'm not ruling in your favor. So it's going to arbitration, and I've said all along, there's a couple of different, or rather 3 different ways this can play out. Village Roadshow wins, Village Roadshow loses, or there's a settlement. So in terms of the franchise and us as fans wanting more content, we either should be well, like I said, I'm trying to be objective in terms of like the case, but in terms of, like I said, the franchise and the future of content, you're looking for either a Village Roadshow loss or a settlement. Because if they were to just win outright, I believe that Warner would just then sit on it and just not make anything. So it's unfortunate for us because I feel like this is like the kid who's watching his parents get divorced, right? Like, like how many times have we seen that logo, or rather the logos back to back, for those of us who have watched the movies multiple times. It just feels like a bad breakup in the making, or in the middle of a bad breakup rather, or an ugly divorce. So, I'm hoping that they settle in on some joint custody, and we get equal time. But yeah, like I said, I don't see how else we get future content other than those 2 outcomes. Now, I'll take that math. I'm a stats guy, right? I'll take 2 out of 3. I feel like 2 out of those 3 options give us a chance at future content. But again, it's one of those situations where it's out of our hands, basically, is what it comes down to. But with that said, that's why like I said, I've been trying to focus on just getting some new original content so that there's something for us to look forward to. You guys have any thoughts on all that? I think that catches us up to current. Oh, right. That was the other thing. In that legal article that we just read, towards the end there, we get I believe the judge's ruling is that they have to have this settled in arbitration by December of 2023. So not this December, but next December. But because it's private arbitration, it can happen anytime between now and then. And because of the Wonka situation, like, because I know people are looking at the thumbnail like, what's this got to do with Johnny Depp? Yeah, because of the Wonka situation, I believe that was originally scheduled to come out early next year. So I imagine that they're going to come to some sort of resolution, or at least I hope that they come to some sort of resolution by the end of this year. But you know how it is in the court system and legal system, it could take years. And I just really hope that Village Roadshow doesn't drag this out, because right now it looks like they're not in a position to win this thing at all. They've just been kind of taking L after L after L after L. So, like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving any legal advice, and I'll just leave it at that. Did you guys want to share any thoughts on all this madness?
Well, if they are withdrawing, then it might last. It might end or come to a conclusion before the end of next year.
And that's what I'm trying to, I guess, put out into the ether as far as, you know, hoping for a speedy resolution. I think I'll take the Scarlett Johansson path and everybody kiss and make up and make nice and tell us that you're gonna have a good time making the next installment of whatever we're getting. But that's why I asked about the Scarlett Johansson thing. If anybody in the chat knows what was the name of that? Something Terror, right? What was it?
Tower of Terror?
Tower of Terror, yeah. If anybody knows any details of that, because I haven't seen anything. Right, because I did see Black Widow, and then I saw her sister make a cameo in the Hawkeye spinoff.
Yeah.
Or, but she, Scarlett Johansson wasn't in the Hawkeye spinoff, so Black Widow obviously was what the lawsuit was about. So that's the point I'm getting to, is I haven't seen any new Scarlett Johansson stuff. So I'm hoping that it wasn't just lip service. I'm hoping that everything they said about kissing and making up and looking forward to Tower of Terror and all the other Black Widow cameos and features coming up is real. I'm like I said, I watched it. It wasn't my favorite Marvel movie, but there were some things that I liked about it.
I would like to see 2 more Matrix movies. Village Roadshow's involved in production and movie distribution, so they don't really see a profit from a streaming show. And I think that's what this is mostly about. Is Warner Brothers wants to be in the clear and open, free to make a streaming show on HBO Max without having to give Village Roadshow anything. More movies obviously means they would have to cut Village Roadshow in. I think we'll probably see an arbitrated settlement that it has Village Roadshow paying Warner Brothers part of what they owe, mitigated by how much Warner Brothers made from the streaming side of it. Because obviously Village Roadshow doesn't see anything from streaming. If there is a streaming series that comes out, I doubt the Wachowskis will have anything to do with it. We'll have a whole new creative team. That may be a great opportunity to explore parts of the Matrix universe we've not seen before, and that the Wachowskis wouldn't take us down those rabbit holes. That doesn't guarantee it'll be good either. We could see it just evolve into some dumb action flick. And the more you watch Resurrections, especially when they're talking about making the 4th video game, the scene with Christina Ricci in the boardroom, where they're talking about all the problems with reboots and sequels, and well, what is the big dumb action is not on brand. But if we see a streaming series, we'll probably get to see a lot of stuff that's not on brand. Really wish the Wachowskis would come back and do more of their things, but I don't think either one of them is going to be involved with anything that we may see in the future. I'd be happy with just another video game. Decent.
No, I agree. I don't think Lana.
And keep pressing action.
I don't think Lana's gonna put something out. At least not anytime soon. But I agree with you there. Now, but you said a couple of things that I guess caught my attention. The first, saying that you want another trilogy, and my only concern originally, before the movie came out, was the Zach Penn script, right? Because what the thing I was afraid of is that we get Resurrections and then the Zach Penn script and then something else, and we end up in that Star Wars trilogy space. What's that? 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, 7, 8, 9.
Where 8 was just like, what the hell did that have to do with anything? So I don't want that to happen. At this point, if we were to get a hypothetical moving forward trilogy, I would want it to pick up where we left off if they're going to go that route. That said, the other thing you mentioned, you're talking about the streamers and the video games, and that to me, I think, is more important because, to the comment in the chat, and like I said, the numbers don't lie, in terms of the traffic right now. Like I said, there's some deception with the numbers in terms of the HBO Max, which is part of the lawsuit, right? So we don't really know how much money was made on it. We don't really know how successful it was. But that said, because the backlash was so hard and angry, I personally think that if they're going to make more films, they still should stop and go back and give us another video game and give us a streamer and let it rebuild. You know what I'm saying? Like the energy has to get built back up. You know, the crowd is not hype right now. It's just not.
No.
You know, I like
No,
that.
and it's going to be hard to hype everybody up. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. I mean, you're. I'm already knowing you're going with it where my mind is already with it. So,
well, I was going to say it's going to be hard to build up the audience again without some snacks because Resurrections was so mixed.
I like that. I need snacks. I need some Matrix snacks, baby.
There you go. There's a Matrix snack for you.
Is that a Bosman?
So you're gonna get me in trouble, Simon.
That's fan art, and I don't have an artist name. Appears that the RSI name was Sachiko. So Sachiko,
Sounds familiar.
Out there, that one's for you.
DM me.
Slide into the DMs. Yeah, I can't make any promises as far as like the next cosplay shoot or anything, but
I put a casting call out earlier today.
Okay. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm always on the hunt. I'm always looking for the next.
I found an Agent Pace. I found an Agent Pace cosplay kit. So I posted it on Instagram.
Oh, I didn't see that. Hold on.
I posted on Instagram like earlier today.
I think I've seen it. Now, that's what I'm saying though, but you can't buy it. It's just like I think the article is just saying if this is how you're going to play Pace, this is what you would want to get to play Pace, right? I mean, is this the same image we're talking about?
Probably, but yeah. You know, if my DMs start blowing up, then we got some OnlyFans that are into it.
Terrible. Oh boy. So yeah, man. So what you been up to in terms of Matrix content and stuff you're putting out, V?
Well, I've been into the NFT project and got myself a couple of the glitches from all their little mini games. So I have started my own mini game where on each Wednesday I'll release a little puzzle or a cipher, and the first person to decrypt it wins a glitch in the Matrix artifact from me.
That's awesome. Now let me I just need to put this in perspective because I'm in that space with you, but for everybody who's listening who's not in that space, I want you to wrap your head around what Vesuvius really just said in between the lines. So what he just told you was that the Nifty's Matrix NFT project is giving away so many free glitches in the Matrix that Vesuvius is having his own giveaways and giving away the free glitch in the Matrixes that they gave him. Like, that is crazy to me in a good way. But again, I wouldn't have even bought one NFT if they hadn't given me that free one from the Twitter contest. And here I am. Oh man, I don't even know if I want to show you my collection at this point. It's gotten like absurd.
You got a Baker's dozen yet?
Did you say a dozen?
A Baker's dozen.
Now I feel real bad. I feel like this is about to turn into an intervention.
Well, that depends. Do you have any 3D glasses?
I did end up scoring some 3D glasses.
Woo!
Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, I got to show them now, right?
I think you have to.
Yeah. Well, give me a second.
Sunglasses, trench coats, best selection.
Well, yeah, and that was the thing. So, right, the last live stream, we pilled that base, and unfortunately, I couldn't see her stats because it takes like an hour. That's what I found out. It takes an hour for the Rarity tool to update. But I have grown quite attached to her outfit, which we'll see here in a moment. And while I'm pulling that up, like I said, if you guys are interested in some of that free avatar energy, I've got a giveaway of my own on the Matrix University Discord. And as long as you don't already own an NFT avatar, you will be eligible. So let me get to the nifty site here.
I'm loving the slideshow, by the way, from Scion.
Right, his images are so cool.
It's great to get a chance to show off images from the archive. I spent the whole run of the game, early 2005 to mid 2009, collecting images related to the game or anything Matrix, and mostly they've just sat here. And occasionally, I go through them, thinking these might be of interest to some people. Maybe we'll be able to zip up an archive and upload it sometime soon. I'm glad you're enjoying it. There's more to come. This is what happens when you piss off the last remaining dev in the game one too many times. I had been just giving Halborn so much shit every time the intruder was in the Matrix. So when they finally opened up in open hostilities, Rarebit singled me out and one shot killed me. That'll teach you to be a wise ass Scion. Probably no.
Yeah, I didn't even know Rarebit was a killer like that. It's news to me. Okay, here we go. So this, all right, these are the ladies that are up for sale. Okay.
That sounds really bad.
Well, okay. Well, first of all, her job description, if we're gonna click on here real quick, this is G.I. Jess is her name. Should be obvious reasons. And if you look at her job description here, it says her salary is $92,000 a year. And then you go to occupation, it says unemployed. So I mean, you can't really
self-employed. She's self-employed.
You can't get mad at me. Don't hate the player, hate the game. So now we're gonna go back here, and this is right. So this is the blue pill that I picked up since the last live stream. Now I picked her up for her stats here because let me get rid of this so you can see better. So right. So if you see here, I thought these were decent Fight Club stats, right? 15, 13, 13, 13. No number specifically high, or, not like 17, 20s high, but I figured because most of them were double digits, my low numbers were 9 and 5. I thought she had a shot,
Yeah.
Right? It's best 2 out of 3 or something like that.
I think so.
Something like that, so I figured, if you got an 11 and I hit 13 and 12 and then I hit 15 and you hit 17 and I hit 5, then, whatever. But
well, I think they add up 3 numbers. So it's, my 3 versus your 3. It's the sum of each.
Oh, okay. See, I'm glad you explained that. I didn't even understand that.
So you'd be in the 40s. You'd be 40 or close to 45.
You feel me?
If you got the
I
right
feel like
one.
that's a decent roll,
Yeah, I guess anything over 30 is pretty good.
Okay, so all the bases are the same except for the fact that one is missing because there's Miss 3D glasses. And this is the one we pilled last time. So that's what I was gonna say. What I've come to, I don't know, grow fond of this outfit here. I feel like this is, I'm calling this like the agent outfit. Now she's got a green jacket. Of course, it's better when it's black with a white tie, or a black jacket with a white shirt and a black tie. But it's still, the jacket and tie look. So these are like my Fox agents. Right. This was silver handgun, silver SMG. This is actually probably one of my last pickups because now I have like a regular handgun, silver and gold. Same with SMG. So those sets are complete. Like I have every SMG and every handgun combination now. Right, and then this is the I call this the Morpheus starter pack because you've got the SMG and the katana. Right, same thing with axes. Got gold, silver, and Amber Rose has the regular handgun and regular axe. Right there she is. Right, there's the gold handgun, dual size. I think she was here last time, but I really like her. All right, I got a long side, and that one's gold. And then the gold shoddy. This is by far my favorite one. And there's only 49 left-handed gold shoddies, so they're pretty rare. In fact, this is more rare than the 3D glasses as far as red pills go. And then, right, you got the gold Morpheus starter kit, or at least gold SMG Morpheus starter kit. I don't have a gold katana yet. But yeah, at some point I'm like, well, right, because I've got the dual silver pulse here, but she was here last time, and there's your basic SMG, and that's the end of my collection to date. But yeah, at some point it's like, well, I'm this close to having every weapon combination, so do I just chill? Or and then the other thing too is shout out to Lorenzo. And then the other thing too is, like I said, MoonPay is supposed to be launching this month, which will make it like Mint, where you can just buy an avatar directly from your credit card, and you don't have to jump through all those like crypto space hoops to get your money on. So yeah, man. But the 3D glasses, honestly, like I like her. I do. I'm like it was definitely like something that was like, if I don't get 3D glasses, I'm gonna freak out. So I feel like now everything is like a luxury buy, if that makes sense. Like I felt like getting this and the gold shotgun like really completed the collection. And then once that happened, I was like, all right, I don't have to buy anymore. And then I caught something. So I caught this gold handgun so cheap. And I was like, I want more. I want the silver one now. So yeah. Yeah, Lorenzo says he's still catching up on the other live streams. Yeah, okay. So I'm glad you said that, because I get it. Not everybody can sit and listen to us talk Matrix for an hour. What I kind of like about the longer live streams is, like I said, I've been super busy. It's a busy season, for me work wise. Like the busy season of the year is like this kind of spring summer transition. And what happens is the shorter videos, even though it's only 10-15 minutes, right? You're like, oh, that was quick. Well, it probably took me like 6 to 9 hours to make it. So with the live streams, I can get on, talk my trash, and go on to the next thing, and at least you guys get the information. That's why I really wanted to get out this more in-depth lawsuit video, because again, I would have loved to make it. I would have loved to have made it like the Sophia Stewart video, which I thought, I got rid of that. Well, like I said, the link is in the description if you want to see that. But again, this is just a lot easier for us right now. That said, the reason why I was glad Lorenzo brought that up is because, like I said, we're over on the Matrix University Discord. The link is in the description for that as well. And, at this point, I get it. I'm spread too thin. I know that. So any help is helpful. So if you know how to video edit or audio edit, and you want to chop these live streams up for the highlights, for the most important, to make snippets out of them, I'll repost it and shout you out. Any volunteers of help of any of that kind is, appreciated at this time. So if you guys want to jump into the Matrix University Discord, and it's not just editing, I mean, creative collaborators, if you know how to animate in Unreal Engine 5, like any of that kind of stuff, we've got the green room. The collaborative line is open. So, anybody who wants to contribute to Matrix University in that way, like I said, the lines are open, the door is open. You are welcome. Please come on in. Your help is needed and appreciated right now. All right, so that's what I wanted to do, because last time we didn't get a chance to check her out. This was the one that we pilled, my little Fox agent here. So, and she's got that Mint number that I like. In fact, there's a couple mint numbers that I own that I like a lot. I'm really weird when it comes to when I buy things. So, right, this guy, this that was my first gold SMG, 3331. Really like his number as well. Gold Shoddy, Miss Gold Shoddy 3293. I like her number a lot. And that's another thing too. So 1, 2, 3 gold SMGs. They're all left-handed gold SMGs, but I believe there's only a total of 118, and I have 3 of them. So that's like already, I'm doing too much. But here we are. And part of that logic in my mind was, just the resale value. Like I'm not, like I want to have at least one. So that way now I can sell one and not cry all night that I sold one of my gold babies. So this is her in the Rarity tool. This is the avatar that we red pilled last live stream, and you can see here that her score is 95. Right now, this breaks down all the different attributes. Right now, I wanted to show you though. She's got the phone, which, don't you have that phone? Isn't that the phone you have, Vesuvius?
I don't. My hands are empty.
No, I mean in the real world, don't you? Isn't that the phone from the Matrix movies?
Oh. I don't know. I thought that they were like smartphones.
The smartphones
I
is
can't
the blue
really
pills. The smartphones is the blue pills. I noticed somebody tweeted like when the Matrix Avatar's official account was like, "Oh, share your phone, share your quote smartphone." People were posting their red pill phone, but nah, the smartphone is the blue pill. I'm pretty sure this is the phone that you have.
I don't think I have a phone. And now I gotta check.
Didn't you post an unboxing video of it?
Oh yeah, the actual real life phone. Yeah,
That's
the
what I'm talking
Samsung.
about. Yeah, Samsung. Thank you. I think that's supposed to be the Samsung. Could be wrong about that, but looking at it on the big screen here, I feel like that's supposed to be the Samsung. Because also remember that this is supposed to take place during the first film, right?
Is it?
Okay. So disclaimer. At this point, other than taking the red pill or burning a glitch kitty for some XP that we can't apply yet, but should be able to apply by the end of the month, anything we say is speculation, okay? But I believe that in one of the Twitter spaces, I was told, or it was said, that the writer that is writing for this is writing for a time period that takes place during or in and around the original Matrix film. So they're still looking for Neo. So this is either right before the movie starts or maybe right after, he gets bugged, or something like somewhere in that timeline space of the beginning of the first movie is where the Nifties or the Matrix Avatar storyline is supposed to take place, I believe.
Okay. I mean, I consider myself a hardcore, so I kind of have issues with that. But all right, whatever.
So
it's not gonna change the movies,
right? So, well, I want you to well, what are your issues? Go now that we're here. If we go there, let's go there. What is your issue? Because I got one, so I can share it. But you first.
We already have all that information. So what I heard was it was supposed to be reminiscent of searching for Neo. So like any one of us could be the one. So I understand that.
Correct.
I guess an explanation, but
any one of us could be the one because we haven't found the one yet.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Neo was the 6th one, so maybe we could be the 7th one. I don't see.
You're saying
it was ambiguous.
That's where you saw it going?
something like that. Yeah, but we're not given the details, so I'm just like, I'm not gonna fill in the gaps with my own perception. I'll just wait until I get more information.
Right. So real
But
quick
even
here,
if it does take place, earlier in the timeline, around that time where, Morpheus's fifth potential one is killed, and he's now looking for Thomas Anderson, and that's fine. Whatever. This is supposed to be a fun thing. I didn't ever think it was going to be canon. So yeah, whatever.
well, right. The canon. Okay, so well, real quick. So before we get into that, let me just say, shout out Alan Manila. I love the Matrix as well. John Warhol, good to see you. He said, glad to see you boys streaming again. Likewise, good to see you. And also, he said, don't want Matrix Universe to become like Star Wars Universe, feeling small, revolving around the same 6 or 7 people. All right, let me circle back to this. Again, the Discord link is in the description, so we would love to see you there, because if you have any streaming ideas, please share them with us. Right now we're kind of just jumping in every couple of weeks just because we miss you guys. But yeah, if there's stuff, topics that we think we can get some good discussion out of, we'll jump on, we'll make a little time for it. But that's why I want to encourage as many of you guys to join us over there, to just kind of, like I said, do the teamwork thing and combine ideas as like-minded Matrix fans. No, much appreciated. I will wave to you when the live stream is over, and feel free to post up in some of the rooms. We got some conversation going already, but there's some that could be jump started. So like real quick, let's go back to this. You said don't want Matrix universe to become like Star Wars. Yeah, that's what we were kind of saying before you jumped in, that there's a lot of room for, or rather, we need some snacks. We need something to chew on a little bit before another film. So yeah, I agree. I think that streamers with new characters, or even, hey, Matrix NFT avatar characters, right? It could be so many different things. The Matrix universe is already bigger than I think most people's scope realizes. So, you can tap into the comics, you can tap into even Matrix Online characters. They're part of the universe. And to that point, when you were talking about canon, Vesuvius, like we said, we don't really think Lana Wachowski is interested in doing another film anytime soon. But by definition, right, it's canon if Warner's behind it, which is the whole Path of Neo debate, right? But then the Wachowski said, hey, this is just a video game. So that's why I can just kind of throw that out, just, on that alone. Okay, but that's specific to that Mega Smith, them giving us that, all that information before the last boss in that game. So right, so without the Wachowskis being directly involved in the story of the Matrix avatars, then by default most people are going to say that it's not canon, right? So like I said, at that point it's fair game. Like, it could be whatever, because everybody's just going to say it's not canon anyway, right? So I think that that's fun. And just in terms, like I said, we just need some snacks. So if we all agree that it's not canon, then we don't have to get upset about it. And there you go. Interesting, because John says I could use a prequel of Morpheus finding and losing the first 5 attempts to find Neo, and it ends like Rogue One right before first movie. Yeah, it's funny because I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, but I actually tagged Zach Penn about his maybe young Morpheus script and kind of tied it into the whole Matrix Avatar situation. So that was a fun little tweet there. You guys can check that out. Odd One, shout out to you. Good to see you guys. Man, I miss these PFPs. Odd One says, I am late but back. Glad to see you back. And guys, the playback is always there. I know Lorenzo said he's got to catch up on some live streams, but like we said, we've got a special thing happening tomorrow for most of tomorrow on the Matrix University Discord. Check out the event that is posted there. I really wish I could tell you guys details and try to hype it up here, but when you see what it is, you'll understand why I can't hype it up here. And you'll also see how you can make yourself eligible. We're going to give away a free Matrix NFT avatar to someone who doesn't own one already tomorrow. So hopefully you guys can not only join us on the Matrix University Discord, but that winner will then join us in the Matrix NFT avatar Discord. Hopefully is the hope. Because that's the one thing I will say with that project. I mean, Vesuvius, you can kind of speak to this, right? Am I crazy? Like, if you don't follow the Discord, you are not going to know what's going on.
Yeah, it's really vital. They're doing most of their information from there, and I would say Twitter is second, and it's a pretty distant second. I mean, we get a lot of information from the other community members that, like, you would think that they're moderators, but they're not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of helpful individuals over there. Like I'm like you when you asked me last time, if you're gonna ask me honestly, am I having fun in the Matrix NFT avatar community? Absolutely. I mean, if you look at my collection, that should tell you I'm having a good time. I wouldn't be having fun. I wouldn't be getting these guys if I wasn't having fun. Or that's gonna show you. So, right, the one that we pulled last time, her rarity score was a 95. Now this is the rarity score of the gold shotgun. She's missing a number or something. Let me go back here.
What's this website again?
This is the rarity.webomatic.fi/matrix. They definitely, because the developer who made it is he's definitely like on their Discord, but I could shoot you the link so you have it. There you go. All right, so the gold shotgun, her score is 613, so way higher on the food chain, much more rare because of that weapon. Her outfit specifically isn't that rare, but it's that piece, man. It's beautiful. I like it. And then I was going to show you, because this is what I was saying. So now we're going to look at the rarity of the 3D glasses, because I know that's like the hot ticket item. And at first I didn't understand. This is how I came to understand. See, so her rarity is 357, so that's still a good score, but it's not as high as that gold shotgun because the 3D glasses are red pilled. So if you guys remember that story where somebody bought the 3D glasses, what was it, for like 15 grand or whatever?
Yeah.
That's because it was unpilled. There's only 20 3D glasses from the base. But once you pill them, once you take the red pill, there's, I think, like 196 3D glasses. And like I said, there's only 49 of those left-handed gold shotguns. So the gold shotgun is actually more rare than the 3D glasses as far as red pills go. So that's the score difference there. And that's the other thing, because I was so late to the Discord party with these things, like I really had to spend the last couple months just playing catch up and finding out all this stuff and figuring out how to use the Webomatic tool. In fact, I might, well, maybe I should probably wait until we get a couple more people to join us over there, but I might just do a live stream on showing you how to work this thing, because once you know how to use this for more than just checking the rarity, ooh-wee. I mean, that's how I've been catching these deals, man. Yeah. So, but we are at the hour-and-a-half mark. So I'm going to remind you guys again to please like the stream. Please check out that free Matrix NFT avatar contest that we are holding tomorrow on the Matrix University Discord. The link is in the description. What you have to do is in the description of the event. So when you get to the Matrix University Discord, check out the event. You'll see what we're doing tomorrow. I'm really excited for it. I've been looking at this date on the calendar for a while, and you'll understand why I couldn't like hype you guys up about it, but I've been hype about it, and here we are. So again, thank you guys. Thank you, Vesuvius. Shout out to you, Scion, for all those cool images. Actually, let me before we bounce, let me highlight that real quick, just so you can see some of the images that Sion's been putting up here. But yeah, I'm always blown away by the library of images that you two have between Sion and Vesuvius. It's just really impressive, and it's really helpful to Matrix University, and I really appreciate you guys for that energy. Like Vesuvius said, we've been having fun in the Matrix NFT avatar community, but I'm having a lot of fun with the Matrix University community on Discord as well. And like seriously, you guys have gotten me through some tough days. This is what I was looking for when I started this channel. I was missing that Matrix Online community energy, and both of you guys, experienced that firsthand. So to be able to get that back in this way has just been very special, and I hope I can share that experience with you guys in some way, shape, or form. And hey, if you can't get it from me, I would recommend that you try it in the Matrix NFT avatar community, because that's got the official Warner nod, right? So it's out here. We're here. We're still here. We are still here. Actually, is it too late? Can I find it? Oh, well, while Sign is sharing images, I'm gonna see if I can find that and end on that note.
On this image I have here, we saw in Matrix Resurrections that the technology had been developed for the operator to project an image of themselves into the Matrix with the operators, or the operatives rather. We saw Sequoia do that, but guess who invented it? It was Link, with a assist from Rarebit. Link wouldn't have been projected into the Matrix Online without Rarebit making those constructs for us. And then they use that idea in the Matrix Resurrection. So you never know what's going to become canon, or it just will agree with canon when it comes along.
That's actually a sweet connection, man. I don't know that we've discussed that before, because you shared that picture before, but I don't know if you explained it that way.
And we got to give mad props to Raj for keeping the emulator going. And I want to urge everyone to go to mxoemu.info, click on the PayPal link, send Raj a few bucks. Neo Matrixology has done it. It's on my to-do list. It's headed over there, Raj, I promise. If anyone else who enjoys getting in the simulation, party in the Matrix, first Friday and Saturday of every month, second Saturday every month, hack the Matrix. It's a lot of fun. Come on by. You never know who you're going to meet on the streets of Mega City.
All right. On that note, I'm going to send it over to Morpheus.
Welcome to Neo Matrixology. This is the place to save the Matrix.
And class is dismissed.